Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at one of the basic classes in AD&D out of the Player's Handbook, the Thief. I consider the four basic classes to be the Cleric, the Fighter, the Magic User, and the Thief. I've already covered the Cleric and the Fighter. Today I'm going to take a look at the Thief. You're saying, wait a minute, Magic User should be next. Nah, Magic User is a little more complicated and I want to handle that a little differently. More in my prep for it than anything else. So the Magic User is coming, just not today. Today we're taking a look at the Thief, one of what I consider to be a good training class. If there's somebody who's brand new to AD&D and they don't want to play a fighter, Thief is the next best bet in my opinion. You got to be careful. Some people take that name Thief and run with it. So today, Player's Handbook, we're going to take a look at the Thief. Also want to remind everybody, subscriptions. Always looking for subscribers. Channel is growing beautifully. As of this filming, something like 1,780 subscribers, and the channel is just growing. I want to keep it growing. So please, if you know somebody who's been on the fence or something, or there's someone you could recommend the channel to, please do. I'm always looking to grow the channel. Also, I have a Patreon going. I'd like to upgrade my equipment a little bit, and I need a little capital to do that. So if you can help out there, that'd be great. That's the end of the commercial. Today, out of the Player's Handbook, we're going to take a look at the Thief in AD&D. The Thief class in AD&D. I like the Thief class a lot. I've had some successful Thief characters in my gaming days. If you saw my video on multi-class characters, you heard me talk about my magic user, my Thief magic user, Flynn, also known as Lefty, who did quite well. I also have a high-level Thief that I've been running for at least 40 years, named Hidalgo, and Hidalgo has done quite well as well. So, Thieves. What is so special about Thieves? Well, first we're going to take a look at what it takes to become a Thief. You have to have a dex of not less than 9. And if you have a dex of greater than 15, you add 10%. So it's a basic, one of the core classes, as I call them. And you get that 10% bonus, so you go up that much faster. Thieves have to be neutral or evil, although they can be neutral good, rarely. And they can be lawful or chaotic nature. Most thieves tend towards evil. They use 6-siders for their hit dice, and they can use a variety of light armor and a variety of weapons, and they get the backstab ability. Now we take a look at the primary functions of a thief. They are picking pockets, and that is not a literal pocket. It be the folds of a garment or a girdle, and also includes such activities as pilfering and filching small items. Be done by light touch and sleight of hand. So that statue that catches your eye that you want to take off the mantelpiece, that would be a pickpocket roll at my table. Opening locks includes figuring out how to open sliding puzzle locks and foiling magical enclosures. It's done by picking with tools and by cleverness, plus knowledge and study of such items. Finding, removing traps. It talks about small needle traps. I very often will have a spear or a trapdoor that might pop open. Moving silently, the ability to cross with little sound and disturbance, even across the squeaky wooden floor. And then hiding in shadows, the ability to blend into dark areas, to flatten oneself, remain motionless when in sight, to remain unobserved. It's a function of dress and practice. And then the secondary functions are listed as listening at doors. You want to hear what's behind the door, you put your ear to the door and you listen. Ascending and descending vertical surfaces is the ability to climb up and down walls. It assumes the surface is coarse and offers ledges and cracks for toe and handholds. And then backstabbing. Backstabbing is, in my opinion, misnamed. It says here is the backstabbing is striking of a blow from behind, be it with a club, dagger, or sword. Damage done is twice the normal for the thief. For every 4 points, it goes up one more. So triple at 5th to 8th. Quadruple at 9th to 12th, and quintuple at 13 to 16. Striking by surprise from behind also gives a +4 to hit. Now, it's called backstabbing here, and then it says striking from behind. I think actually it's just more of a surprise attack. I allow someone, for instance, I was DMing a game years ago. The thief had a ring of invisibility, had moved silently up to an area directly in front of a guard. He had no opportunity. The guard was standing with his back to a wall. He had no opportunity to get to the back, but he went ahead and he got in front of the guard while invisible. The guard did not know he was there, and he launched his backstab. I allowed that because it doesn't have to be an actual stab in the back. It has to be a surprise attack. So I gave the thief his double damage for that. And at our table, you get double the weapon damage only. So if I'm backstabbing with a short sword and the damage would be 1 to 6, I throw the 6-sider. If I roll a 5, I double that 5 to 10. And that I add on any bonuses I might have for a plus weapon or strength. So you never add all the bonuses. You only add the weapon at my table. And then thieves get other tertiary skills. They learn Thieves' Cant, which is a special form of thief tongue. I allow Thieves' Cant in my game. I don't use alignment language, but I do use Thieves' Cant. But I make it a very regional thing. If I have a thief who's in Greyhawk and the surrounding areas, he can use Thieves' Cant for Greyhawk and surrounding areas. But once he gets further afield, he gets up to in Nyrond, then Thieves' Cant is not going to be known. That same dialect will not be known in Nyrond necessarily. He may have to use some other language. So then at 4th level, burglar, thieves are able to read 20% of all languages, and this ability increases 5% with each level of experience until 80% probability is attained. So they can kind of sound things out. I think that's an underused and a very neat power of a thief. And then at 10th level, thieves are able to decipher magical items and utilize scrolls, excluding those of clerical but not druidic nature. So they can't use cleric scrolls, but they can use druid, magic user, or illusionist scrolls. The fact that thieves do not fully comprehend magic means there's a 25% chance that writings will be misunderstood. Furthermore, magic spells from scrolls can be mispronounced when uttered, so that there's an increased chance per level of the spell it will be reversed of the intent. I've never really seen a lot of thieves take advantage of this particular power. I've tried to use it a few times in my thief with my thief Hidalgo. It had some uses, but by and large, I didn't get enough scrolls and make it worth my while, and especially for the chances for the scroll to reverse, it was not really worth it. There's a table coming up that'll show all the percentage chances, and that shows here you can't build a stronghold, but you can set up a thieves guild in a city, and then you may have to fight a rival thieves guild. Thieves go up pretty quickly. 1,251 points to go to 2nd level. That's very fast. I think only the cleric is faster than the thief. You get a 6-sided dice, and then for a 16 or greater constitution, you get +2 per hit dice. So if you had a 16 constitution at my table, you would start with 6 points for your die, +2 would be 8. Your thief would be starting brand new at 1st level with 8 hit points, and then we would throw a 6-sider plus the 2 up to that, up to 11th level, in which case you get +2 points per level, plus your con bonus as you go up. So the thieves are pretty easy to progress on. And then we take a look at this table. This table was very confusing when I was new to D&D. It took me quite a while to really understand it. Basically, it's pretty straightforward to me now, but when I was new to D&D, it really confused me. As a 1st level thief, my chance of success with pickpockets is 30%. Open locks 25, find and remove traps 20, 15% to move silent, 10% to hide in shadows, 10% to hear noise, and 85% to climb walls. Seems straightforward now, then it was confusing. But wait a minute, I'm an elf. Okay, so it's 30% plus 5 for being an elf, so 35% chance. But wait a minute, I'm an elf with an 18 dex. I have to go back to this table, and I have to look at my 18 dex. I get 10% more. So my elf goes from 30 to 35 to 45% chance to pick pockets at 1st level. Yay! My open locks is 25%, -5 for being an elf, because they felt they had to do something to keep elves from being a superclass. So now it drops to a 20, and I add 15 for open locks for my dexterity, so I'm at a 35. So now I go to find remove traps at a 20, no benefit there, but my dexterity gives me 5% more, so 25%. Move silent, I get 15%, and as an elf I had 5%, that's 20, and then 10% for my dexterity, that's a 30. And hiding in shadows, I get 10%, 10% for being an elf, 10% for high dexterity, so that's also 30%. And then climb walls and read languages. Read languages I don't get till 4th level. Climb walls is not affected by my dexterity, which is strange, and there's no bump for being an elf. So it's pretty straightforward now, but at the time I found it a little confusing. So obviously I've learned more. Now, interestingly, pickpockets was the first time I ever came across what could be arguably called an opposed skill check. So basically, we take my pickpockets roll, and I've already said my elven thief with the 18 dexterity is 30, 35, and 10 more, 45% chance of success. So he sees that the guy sitting over the table, he's got robes on. The victim of the pickpocket, he has robes on him. Pickpocket says, yeah, I'm going to go at him. I'm going to try to get from him. So we're sitting again at 30, 35, 45% chance of success. Got to double check my number. I don't want my example to be wrong. 45% chance of success, but the potential reduce the thief's level by 5% for every level experience above third. So if that guy's 5th level, he would be minus 10. So now I'm only at a 35% chance of success. Worse yet, if I roll 21% higher than I need, so in this case a 56 or greater, the victim notices my hand in his pocket and can take steps accordingly. So that was kind of neat, and that too took a little unpacking for us, and that's become one of my favorite tropes in D&D to kind of educate low-level thieves who are getting excited about the pickpocket abilities. They think they're just going to walk into a bar and just grab everything they want. I like the idea of possible ramifications for that. So it's a good role-playing opportunity for you as the GM, and I absolutely recommend it. And then we get a little bit more detail on opening locks. Once you fail, you can't try again until you go to a higher level, which is interesting. I have allowed thieves to have another try if they take quite a bit of time and study it. Same with find and remove traps. If they say, okay, I didn't get it this time, but I'm going to study it for the next 10 rounds, I'm really going to study this thing, I'll let them get another roll. After that, I'm just going to say, no, it's beyond you. Move silent is just what it sounds like. You want to sneak past somebody or sneak up on someone, that's the way to do it. Hiding in shadows cannot be accomplished cannot be accomplished to creatures with infravision only if there's some heat-producing light source near the creature. And I'm fairly open with this. If the thief tells me I'm really taking pains, I'm going to try to hide in that little crevice in the wall, and I'll pretty much allow it as long as they're not careless with it. I feel that infravision is more than, or hiding from infravision is more than just standing near a heat source. You can also use terrain features to hide from it. Hiding behind a bench with infravision would probably work pretty well. Hearing noise, simply intent listening. The thief, as stated, must put his ear to the door. One of my favorite things to do, and I know I'm not the only DM who's done this, is the thief's got his ear to the door. Turns out the door's a mimic. The thief now has the side of his head stuck to the mimic. As the mimic brings out little pseudopods and starts pounding on him, that can be a lot of fun. Climbing walls, they make you go halfway up per these rules before you get your first climbing check. And if you fail it, you fall. We actually modified that. We let you go up 10 feet and get your first check, and then you have to check about every 30 feet, depending on the situation. You have to check about every 30 feet after that to make sure that you're able to climb the wall successfully. If you fail, you do fall off the wall. But at 10 feet, it's only a die 6 of damage. So it's a little more user-friendly, especially for low-level thieves. And I do modify based on the wall surface. If it's some kind of fieldstone wall with lots of protrusions, I'll go ahead and I'll give the thief an extra 10%. So his 85 will go to a 95. And then reading languages can be attempted but once. Failure, you have to go study and learn up. And I do adhere to that. So the thief can be a really good learning class, as I said. But I said it can be problematic, and here's why. People who are new to the game tend to hear the word thief, and they think, I'm just going to steal everything. So every treasure pile, they try to jump in first and pocket a few items before the rest of the group knows what's there. They try to steal from party members, things like that. I've had all of that occur with a new player playing a thief for the first time. It can be handled by the DM, where the DM kind of pulls the guy aside and says, hey, you're member of the team. Do you really want to be doing this? And if they insist on it, you look at their alignment. You say, okay, they're chaotic neutral. Fine, they can do whatever they want. It's been my experience that at that point, the party will take care of it. They'll either kick the thief out, or in extreme situations, they'll just go ahead and eliminate the thief and that player, unfortunately, if they're new to the game, will probably sour on the game, but there's not much I can do if I've already kind of given hints and warnings. If they're going to persist in something that makes the party take action against them, that's no longer really up to me. I've only had that happen once or twice, and that was back in the 80s when everybody was still pretty new to this, and we would have, this guy would bring his girlfriend and she'd play for a little bit, and uh, it just, I didn't like new players necessarily playing Thieves. It's a good basic class, but it depended on the person as to how mature they were going to be when playing the thief. And people hear the word thief and they think, well, I'm just going to go ahead and rob the party blind. Not a great way to win friends and influence people. So I love the thief class. It's one of my favorite classes. I find a very enjoyable class to play, especially if you're playing with the group. The thief can be a tremendous addition to the party as far as scouting ahead. I love doing that with my thief. I'll scout ahead by myself all the time, either invisibly or just hiding in shadows. Cloak of Elvenkind is also wonderful for a thief. Boots of Elvenkind also helpful. So there are a lot of good items that work with a thief. I may take a look at some thief items that work really well with a thief sometime down the line. But that's really all I have to say today about thieves. Let me know your experiences. Let me know if you like them or don't like them. In second edition, they took out the word thief and they changed them to rogues. Apparently, the word thief had too many negative connotations as they went into second. They were having some problems with parents and such. In the late 80s, the satanic panics were just getting ramped up. TSR was trying to find a way to survive. I never held it against them for changing some of the stuff they changed in the game. I understood it. And whatever I didn't like, I didn't pay attention to. Tanari and Batizu were an interesting choice rather than Demon and Devil, but it gave us a nicer look at Demons and Devils. And in third edition, just made Tanari and Batizu little sub-races of Demons and Devils. So I thought that was handled very nicely, actually, overall. And I like what they brought out in second edition for those creatures. But that's it for today from page 121. I hope you like what you heard and saw. If you did, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends, and I'll see you next time.